Hi Cancer and Cancer Rising, this is your January 2017 forecast. So first off, Happy New Year. I think astrologically we can see a lot of better, more positive developments happening in 2017. So let's see where January 2017 finds you. So the Sun is going to be in your 7th house until the 20th of January, and this is the house of all significant one-on-one partnerships, it's spousal, business partnerships, it's also the house of consulting. So this is the time when you really want to partner up and realize your potential through significant others. It's all about balancing your personal objectives and needs with the partners that you have in your life. If you consult, it's going to be a very busy time for you and it will increase your popularity and charisma. This is especially true because Mercury, which is retrograde still until the 8th of January, is also in your 7th house and will stay in Capricorn in the 7th until the end of January. So this is when you really want to renegotiate all the unspoken terms and conditions of your partnerships, make sure your needs are being met. Mercury in the 7th gives you a degree of detachment, so you're able to sort through personal problems within partnerships very easily, very objectively, so much less subjective placement. It's also very good for consulting, as indicated with the Sun here, so if you consult, this is going to be a busy and productive period for you, and you'll be very articulate and good at expressing your ideas and conveying them to others. So, and the Sun, of course, will give you magnetism with regards to other people. So, Mercury in the 7th, good for consulting, good for detachment on personal issues. And when Mercury goes direct from the 8th of January, a very good time to draw up contracts, to enter into business negotiations and discussions. So Mars and Venus are going to be in your 9th house for the entire month, and Mars in the 9th really has you looking for adventure, something off the beaten track. The 9th house is all about how we expand our personal horizons, how we create meaning in our life, how we make things more significant. So Mars in the 9th really puts the focus here. So what adventures can you have? What courses of study can you take? Those sorts of things are going to be very gratifying for you at this time. So whether you're enlarging the scope of your personal horizons for travel, study, developing a new hobby, these are things that, the energy of Mars is going to really be fired up for. So Venus in the 9th, this really attracts pleasurable Venusian experiences that are consciousness raising. So, planning trips or experiencing, entertainment that transforms the mind, like Venusian entertainments such as art exhibitions, gallery openings, beautiful places. You're also very attracted to people very different from you, so people that represent different backgrounds, so that, again, interacting with them can expand your personal horizons. So pleasurable experiences that expand your personal horizons, a very good time to take a vacation if you can. So let's look at the transits this month. We've got a very practical new moon happening in your 7th house in Capricorn on the 29th of December, and of course that energy with starting new projects and developing goals and objectives running for the first 2 weeks of January. So because the Sun and the Moon are conjunct Mercury, there's lots of conversations with partnerships. You may really be kind of tackling your partnerships through discussions, through a lot of discourse. With the Moon conjunct Mercury, it's really about how you feel about things. And in Capricorn, the emphasis is very practical. What practical changes can you make to improve partnerships? And, how can you enhance your horizons with the sextile to Mars between the Sun and the Moon? So this is good for high energy projects, for taking action, for being assertive, taking a bit of a risk if you need to. So really partnerships and long range plans being developed, possible plans around study and learning and travel. So on the 1st of January, we've got Mars conjuncting Neptune in your 9th house. And this aspect can always have one feeling a little bit off color, perhaps as a result of the sort of excess that tends to happen at the end of the year. So Neptune and Mars together can show a little bit of intoxication, inebriation, and feeling off color as a result. It's also good for selfless service and charity, however, so you can actually funnel these energies into a productive outlet in the terms of helping other people. On the 3rd, we've got Mercury sextiling Venus between your 7th and your 9th houses, and this is good for leisure pursuits of the mind. So this is good for reading, exploration, conversations that stimulate you. It's also very good for feelings of love and affection. And Mercury here and Venus together can really help you articulate feelings of love. So if you need to express your sentiments to a close partner or significant other, then this is the transit that will help you put your heart on your sleeve and convey your thoughts with some eloquence. So on the 7th, we've got the Sun conjuncting Pluto in your 7th house, and this conversely can show a bit of a power struggle. These two planets, when they come together, can be pretty intense. It's a short-lived thing, but creative, destructive energy is being roused, and because it's in your house of significant one-on-one partnerships, it can, as I said, show a bit of a power struggle. Perhaps someone's trying to dominate you, or you're trying to dominate somebody else. So play it safe. On the 10th, we've got the Sun squaring Uranus between your 7th and 10th houses, so this can show disruptions to routine, particularly with partners or in the office, because the 10th is the house of career. So there can be some conflicts and disagreements, and maybe you're feeling a little bit impatient and you want to implement some changes. So watch that rash, impulsive streak with this transit. On the 11th, we've got the Sun squaring Jupiter, an aspect that tips over into the full moon. And this is going to be happening in your 1st house, and those favorable aspects of Jupiter will be happening in your 4th, the home, where you feel rooted, secure, connected, it's family. So this is where you're looking towards your needs. With the Sun in the 7th house, it's very often the focus gets to be on other people, other partners, their needs. So with the full moon happening in your 1st, the focus comes back to you and your needs for comfort, security, grounding, and support. So with very favorable aspects to Jupiter, this shows a lot of generous, good feeling, uplifted moods. So perhaps it's time to entertain at your home, because you'll certainly be feeling rooted, secure, and settled there. And with family as well. So on the 19th, we've got a hard aspect between Mars and Saturn. Now the malefics, when they come together, show, feelings of frustration, where you're feeling blocked, restricted, obstacles are coming up. So you may be feeling you may find your efforts, particularly in the office, are being blocked by circumstances or other people, or perhaps authorities are, imposing their will a bit too heavily. So you want to go slowly and cautiously and keep your head down for this transit, because you're bound to experience it as frustration, delays, and obstacles. So on the 20th, the Sun moves into your 8th house, and the 8th house shows more of an introspective bent. The 8th house is the house of joint resources, so it's investments and resources that you share with the partner. So this is the emphasis is here on budgets and financial plans. Because the 8th house also deals with fears and anxieties of the mind, this is where we confront bad habits such as addictions, and we achieve some self-mastery through tackling those hidden things. Because the 8th house has that focus on hidden things, fears and anxieties of mind, those things tend to churn up. But it's very good for deep level change if you're prepared to confront these things. The 8th house is also, prior to the Sun moving into 9th, a very good place for developing and polishing ideas that you want to take to teaching, publishing, or print. So, going through your paperwork, going through the details, and doing the hard work before you launch those things when the Sun moves into the 9th. So on the 20th, we've got Venus sextiling Pluto between the 9th and the 7th houses, and this aspect really stimulates the imagination. It has one feeling more sensitive, more intuitive, a bit more dreamy, inclined towards fantasizing and escapism. So this for you can be around discussions with a partner or a significant person, or some escapist activities involving somebody else, like going to a movie, going to an exhibit, going for a beautiful drive. But it's also good for more penetrating, subtle realizations and intuitions, not so much for rational thought or careful thought. So this is definitely a more creative aspect. So on the 27th, we've got Venus squaring Saturn between the 9th and the 6th houses. And when Venus and Saturn come together in difficult aspect, there's always some sort of cooling off of the emotions, a bit of a clinical detachment. And for you, because Saturn is in the 6th house, this could be around work, colleagues, or a peer, or someone who's a boss. Perhaps you find that you're subject to some clinical assessments and appraisal from in terms of a work evaluation. Either way, you may find yourself feeling a bit unappreciated, and perhaps your feelings tend to cool off, and you can be a bit more reserved under this transit as a result. So the new moon will be in your 8th house, and if this is that house of joint resources, finances, so a very good time to, get your financial affairs in order, to pay off taxes, debts, and really, and projects that you want to develop and get off the ground that you want to take to teaching, publishing, or print. This is where you want to instigate them and take the practical, actionable steps to develop those things. On the 29th, we've got Mercury conjuncting Pluto in your 7th house, and this can be quite intense, especially in the house of partnerships. So this could be intense discussions. It's also very good for getting to the bottom of things. So if you and your partner have some issues that you need to thresh out, this one will give you that shrewd analysis, but just make sure that you don't dissect each other. So a very good aspect for getting to the bottom of things and for, that kind of intellectual dissection and analysis. So the month ends with Mercury squaring Uranus between your 7th and your 10th. And this can make things a little bit more haphazard and accident prone, especially in the workplace and around partnerships. You'll be looking for something new, so this can stimulate some people in terms of mental projects, so things, new terrain that they want to explore. But on the other hand, Mercury and Uranus together can sometimes produce some nervous, scattered energy. So try and stay grounded and try and not blurt out something rash and inappropriate in the workspace. You may come to regret it. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this forecast, please like and subscribe, and thanks so much for listening.